If you'll all take your seats, we can get started.
Hi everyone, this is Ash, and I know I don't do these often, or at all, but I really needed to make a necessary update video. The gameplay is just to stimulate your eyes, but I really like this game, so I decided to play it more. Anyway, let's get to it. First off, tomorrow, Tuesday, December 17th, is the release of The Walking Dead's game Season 2. For Season 2, excuse me. I'll be streaming a Let's Play on it on twitch.tv/LadyInsanity. It will start at 4 p.m. Pacific. Wow, duh. 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I made it at this time so that everyone can catch it within the day, or at least my North American and European watchers. I'm not sure whether or not the VODs will be released. They should, but I'll explain why my doubt in the next point. YouTube has changed, and it's not the good Dragon Age kind of change. It's like YouTube automating their system to the point that it hurts many of different gaming channels, including mine. This video isn't the place for me to, discuss that kind of thing. People have done that like way better than me, or in greater detail. I'll link a whole bunch of different really good sites that have detailed everything regarding YouTube. I'm sure I'll put the Polygon or GameSpot articles in there, as well as the Rev3 podcast, where they had Adam Sessler, Total Biscuit, and a few others talking about the changes. Or not the changes, but the content ID claim business. I'm sure some of you who watch, the gaming, different media sources and all that have already figured out what's going on. But anyway, these whole new MCM policies, the one that are newly instated, the content claim ID business, it kind of puts my channel in distress, essentially. Half of my Mass Effect videos have been claimed, or at least been trying to. I still have them on dispute. Who knows if they'll actually, get out of it. But essentially, half of my Mass Effect videos are being monetized by some company that has nothing to do with it. For instance, I put up my VGX video, and then the next day it got claimed. It's stuff like that. Basically, I'm just making sure that my videos are being saved. I mentioned on Twitter, but DA Talk was postponed, and it will continue after the holidays. I was using the time to kind of determine whether or not my DA Talks would be hit. I really love doing that series, so I wanted to make sure that the content claim ID mismatches weren't affecting in any way. But yeah, that's coming back after the holidays. And as far as the series and changes coming to YouTube, so here's the grand list of what I'm expecting to do in 2014. On Thursdays, I'm going to be live streaming. I'm going to be doing that on twitch.tv/LadyInsanity. There's a chance that URL may change, but for now, it is twitch.tv/LadyInsanity. DA Talk will come back, coinciding with another series that I'm separating called DA Dossier. Now, the reason for the separation between DA Talk and DA Dossier is that DA Talk is now going to cover broader topics, such as the Chantry and religion. Dossiers will cover characters in greater detail. So the characters that I have on the list include, but are not limited to, Morgan, Alistair, Liliana, Cullen, Varric, and Isabella. And once the actual companions are listed off and all that, if there's information on them, for instance, Cassandra as well. Oh, Cassandra's on the list too. For instance, Cassandra and Varric, who have, a long-standing history within Dragon Age. I'm also going to be featuring them as well as the companions if they have a back history. Both DA Talk and DA Dossiers will be once a month, so you'll get 2 videos at the very minimum every single month. I'm sure a lot more are going to happen. So I also said this in the title that this is a... Oh, actually, wait, one more thing. Other than that, Perfect Save is coming back. I'm going to finish Act 3, and I'm going to start with Mark of the Assassin. That'll start in January. But anyway, going back to my other point, so I said this is a QA video, and this is whenever no new news is coming out, by the way. So, but anyway, I just wanted to list a few questions that were sitting on my Tumblr Ask box. If you guys don't know, you can go to my website, which is ladyinsanity.com. Really original, I know. You can go to ladyinsanity.com/ask, and you can ask me anything. You don't have to log in, you can just do it anonymously. But anyway, there are a whole bunch of them that are listed in the Ask box, and I haven't gotten to them yet. So I thought this would actually be an okay way of doing it, just, answering these on the QA, so that you guys can hear my regular answer. So let's go through the questions. Anonymous says, And please don't make fun of me, I can't say anonymous. I usually mispronounce it. But anyway, Anon says, what do you think... Wow, this is really going great. What do you think you will do about main factions and Inquisition in your main save, such as the Chantry, the Templars, and the former Circle Mages? For example, if I were given a choice, I would change the Circle to be a free place of learning, not a life sentence prison. As for the Templars, I see little reason to spare them at this point. What about you, Ash? Okay, so as far as Templars, I don't think it's safe to, or not safe, but I don't think it's fair to, you know, slaughter them all or anything like that. One of the things I would immediately change is the implementation of Templars. I would get rid of the organization, and if it were to be still existing at any point, I would make sure that they were not using lyrium. I would replace some of them with mages, and also, I don't know how to put it. Because the thing is that with Templars, I really feel for the ones that are affected by the lyrium, because once you take lyrium, you're basically addicted. And I don't know if there's a way to give them like a rehabilitation or anything like that. That's what I would do for the current Templars. Because I don't think anything good happens off living for your whole entire life off lyrium and then trying to get the habit whenever you have to retire. So that's just how I see it. For mages, I do believe that they should not have a life sentence. I still kind of have the thing where if they're young and before 18, they should be put in the circle, and I think they should be trained. But I also think that they should be able to be alive, albeit tracked for a while, after they're 18. And I only use 18 as a placeholder because I don't know at what age within that world their development cycles are completely done. Like they're, you know, like how basically within our age, right? We have age restrictions or whatever, but basically it's not guaranteed that your whole entire body is going to be fully developed until about 23 years, 24. So that's the same way I see about mages. Now, of course, there'll be some mages who are like, well, you know, I don't want to imprison there'll be some people who are like, I don't want to imprison my kid. Well, the way that I see it, obviously visitation rights and like all that, and they'd be able to go home and all that, but they still a rigorous training thing. So, what else? The Chantry, get rid of their military power. I think it's bullshit, and bullshit, and bullshit. That's how I see it. I don't like the Chantry, and I think it's a whole bunch of zealotry. And if, like for instance, if Christianity, okay, mind you, I'm technically a Christian, right? I was raised that way. I was raised in a Catholic school, and I had to do all that. If I ever knew that the Vatican, like all that, they had a military power, in the sense that, you know, they would do that in widespread all across and then try to force Christianity on anyone. It's the same way in here. If people tried to force, like, if they had exalted marches, Christ, no. So I'm going off the topic. I'm pretty sure my conversation here is kind of like derp. I would not have the Chantry have military powers. Screw that. Have a separate thing. It doesn't need to be the Inquisition. It just needs to be a policing thing separate from religion. Completely separate from religion. Where they handle mages in the sense that, you know, like if they're blood mages or anything like that. Alright, next question, because I hate the idea. Archdemon of Thetis says, hey, I have to ask, do you think the Architect will be back? Or is there, if there is a hope to have a talking darkspawn companion in the next game? Okay, you already know, I'm really chuckling. Also love the blog. Thank you very much, Arch. Okay. First question, yes. Although, I don't think he needs to actually be there. Obviously, it's kind of like a really hard thing because there is the chance that the player killed off the Architect, there's a chance that the Architect kept him alive. Most likely, I'm waiting for one of his disciples to be present. Other than that, I don't think the Architect will actually have a physical form in the next one. Not only that, but you have to probably rehire the voice actor. I don't know who was the voice actor for the Architect. Horrible me, I know. But, that's how I see it. I think the Architect will be back in some form, but not physically. As far as the talking darkspawn companion, a temporary companion, yes. A permanent one, no. And the reason why I do that is this. It's almost the same argument as that I have as far as Canary. but it goes even worse. Darkspawn are horrific manipulations of the body, and essentially they raped a woman in order to have them turn into a brood mother in order to produce Darkspawn. There's a lot of hate for Darkspawn. I think it's... I talked about how Canary, in order to gain a presence with other people, they have to go up a hill and carry a large backpack. Essentially, with Darkspawn, I see that as you're basically climbing Mount Everest with a freaking, I don't know, a huge ass pack and a ton of bricks. That's how I see it. I can see it happening for specific things, but I don't see it happening with a permanent companionship. I think that's really risky, and I think that would defeat the Inquisition's ability to work. Now, I know, like, there are some games that do this, right? What is it called? The Skyrim DLC. Why can't I think of it? The vampire one, right? They have Serana, and she's there, and she's helping him out, even though that she's a vampire herself, and all that. Sure, that's a thing, but I think the fact that in order to... Well, I don't want to trivialize the whole rape thing, because that's really bad. Because essentially, if you become a vampire in Skyrim, it comes off the basis of you sired them, right? But with Darkspawn, it's a whole different twisted kind of thing. Anyway, I'm not going to touch it on anymore. Basically, I don't think that it'd be a good idea because there's way too much consumed hate amongst all parties. So, and I think that's just too much, considering I think it kind of takes away from the mage versus Templar conflict, the fact that the Veil is a huge problem and all the demons. I think it... bring it for the next game after Inquisition, but not now. Alright, I'm going 12 minutes. I don't want to make this longer than it needs to be. So let's go to the next question. Vidna asks... Oh, a two-parter. Do you know if the Canary Koseth language is based off Japanese? Also, if there are any new information about Fexes, who had lived in Parvala long before the arrival of the Canary. Now, as far as Kunlat, which is the Canary language, I do not know what it was based off. The way that the pronunciations and also the phonetics behind the actual language, I've just heard on BSN. Mind you, I sometimes frequent BSN, but I try to stay away from it as much as possible because of Mass Effect. But the way I see it is that a lot of people say that an Americanized kind of dialect is how it's treated as far as Kunlat is. I don't know if that is confirmed by the designers. That's the way that I see it. I don't think it was based off Japanese. And, I mean, I only know a limited amount of Japanese, like, conversational, very, very, like, loose conversational Japanese. But I don't think it's the same. Also, are there any new information about Fexes? For those who don't know what who the Fexes are, Fexes were basically an indigenous tribe of people that lived in Parvalan, and once the Canary invaded, or if you want to call it invaded, once they took over Parvalan, they absorbed the Fexes into their ranks, I guess you could say. They basically made them part of the Qun, and of course, you know, if they didn't do that, they indoctrinated the servants and all that jazz. But, basically, that's to the extent of what David Gator has mentioned about the Fexes, and there hasn't been any new information as of yet. Unless if it was around now, if he came out and said, "Hey guys, you remember Fexes?" But I can't say. Anyway, last question. Fishy Hands, Fishy Feet asked, "Hi Ash, I know that you love the Dragon Age series, but besides that, what do you and who are you?" What do? Like, talk about yourself a bit. I'm very curious, that is, if you don't mind asking. I don't mind asking. I don't mind you asking. And I'll answer. I'll just do it as short as I can. Of course, I'm already at 15 minutes, GG. Okay, so in short, my name is Ashley. I partly live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the other part is San Francisco, California. It depends on the time during the year, because I do a lot of traveling. Most of my life has been dedicated to video games. Not just Dragon Age, but everything, basically. I used to major in interactive entertainment at University of Southern California, which is practically game design. I won't detail on that since that chapter is past. I didn't exactly like Los Angeles. That's saying the very least. Anyway, as far as things go, I've been part of esports and competitive gaming almost all of my life, or at least all of my adult life. I started competing in 2005 whenever I was in high school, just like small lands around my hometown, and 2 years later I went to my first event, Major League Gaming, in Chicago. I've been a coach for a professional Shadowrun team. I competed in a lot of games from Halo to Call of Duty to StarCraft. I was in Quantic Gaming, FemFX, so I guess you could say whatever as far as if I was a pro gamer or not. I don't want to get into that discussion. My recent team, Valkyries, we were part of Team Razor. I worked on Black Ops 2 for Treyarch. I was sort of the esports consultant, so I got to work on basically conceptualizing Codcaster, LAN settings, all that jazz. I won Friday Night Fights, which was this thing for COD Elite for Modern Warfare 2. Lots of stuff really around esports. Mainly console esports, but I used to do StarCraft. But now I basically do videos for you guys. That's the long and short of it. I guess you can say I'm interested in a lot of things, like editing and I guess to an extent, like journalism. Obviously you can tell because I do updated videos on Dragon Age and all the news that comes out. Basically, for me, I use video games and videos as a way to tune my voice. Whenever I was growing up, I was really shy, I guess you could say. Video games actually unshied me. I don't want to put it that way, but that's essentially what video games did for me. A lot of people say how video games make you antisocial, but that's how I made friends, and that's how I've met so many people over the years. Video games have been a really positive reinforcement. I mean, obviously, for me, I don't want to say I was socially inept, but basically video games made me broaden my conversational skills. That's me in a nutshell. I'm just trying to learn, trying to do video games and grow. Anyway, that's the end of this update video and QA. You can leave a question in the comment section below, or you can put one anonymously. You can put one in my ask box on my website, which is ladyinsanity.com/ask. Anyway, all the links are going to be in the description. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. I think Walking Dead is going to be great. I already have quote-unquote the perfect save for it. I played Walking Dead Season 1 all over again with all the what I consider the right settings, as well as I don't want to spoil it. Well, I might have to spoil it. 400 Days, I did it perfectly. 400 Days is also there. Anyway, take care, everyone. I hope to see you on the stream tomorrow. Or otherwise, I'll see you next time. Alright, bye guys.
Dang.
Ooh, you're the Walking Dead. Get it?
No.
Sam has Queen High, and our silent friend has to pair. The player wins.
Dang, there goes my banjo. Guess I'll have to take up the oboe.